Hello everyone, I am Hacklebeast and welcome to ISL 3 qualifier number 4. This is the first cast of the day. The first match will be between DDA as the orange Protoss and BoxioR, whoop, don't want to do that, as the blue Terran. Put that in. ISL 3 BoxioR. It's like Boxer, but with an extra I. And in the bottom position, we have DDA. Oh. Oops, ISL 3. .DDA, who is orange. Is that how we capitalize it? I believe all capitalizations are in order. Alright, good stuff. So, PVT on Bloody Ridge. Now, Bloody Ridge is not a Terran-favored map at all. Mostly because of the fact that carriers are just so strong on this map. There are so many ridges for carriers to use to micro against. There's really not an unsafe place on the map for carriers to be. And even if the Protoss player doesn't go carriers, there's still a lot of good places for the Protoss to engage from. There's a circular dynamic in the middle of the map, which tends to favor Protoss, so Terran can't make a wall. So, DDA, gonna get his fast goons out. Gonna be able to put on a little bit of early pressure. Now, BoxioR, kind of surprisingly, is building his barracks far back. This is a map where a lot of players like to build the barracks out in front, because with no ramp, it can sometimes be hard to hold off the early goon pressure, and you want to have some buildings out here just to deflect fire. But you can still throw down a bunker in the front. It'll work the same way. Ooh. Oh, okay. BoxioR is actually going to get the factory down before the first Marine. So he's going to go for a slightly faster than normal factory, but it's going to cost him a little bit of early game security. He's going to get his first Marine out just in time for the Zealot. The second Marine may or may not get out before the Zealot actually arrives. And no bunker has been thrown down yet. He hasn't placed two buildings next to each other, unless you could do a micro trick between the factory and the command center. I'm not even sure if that's possible, but we're about to find out. No, apparently it's not. So the Marines do not have a good micro alley to work with, and the Zealot picks off one very easily, and the other one is only one shot away with 8 health. Looks like the Zealot's going to back off for a moment, try to focus on some of the SCVs. Machine Shop goes down immediately for BoxioR, which I think is a little bit surprising. He's bringing in another probe and now a Dragoon. I'm surprised he didn't get just one Vulture instead, but he really wants that tank out as fast as possible. This bunker is not going to be done in time for the Dragoon, and these Marines are not all in the best of health right now. He's going to have to micro them away from the Zealot, giving the Dragoon enough time, if nothing else, to finish the off the SCV, but no. Attacks the Marines instead, goes for a run by, avoiding the bunker. A lot of good damage on the Marines, but there is a Dragoon in the base. One siege tank can handle one Dragoon, but that's assuming DDA doesn't bring in any extra reinforcements. Getting down one SCV. BoxioR trying to trap the Dragoon by getting the Marines, or the SCVs to the other side. Not quite working out for him. Second SCV goes down, probably going to lose at least a third. And yep, gonna lose that SCV. Tank finally coming out now, and that's going to one-shot the Dragoon. How much longer till range is done? Range still has a little bit of a way to go. Now, BoxioR did get his siege mode very quickly, so there's going to be a very small window that the Dragoons have between them having range done and the siege tank getting siege mode. So, but there are so few forces here, a run-by seems like a real possibility, and because there are so few buildings out in front, I think that's a legitimate option. DDA getting down his Nexus, he knows he's relatively safe. He's taken out enough Marines that he doesn't have to worry about an FD kind of push. Not to mention, he's seen BoxioR is not making any early vultures. Now throwing down an engineering bay here. Definitely like that decision. As I said, you want to prevent that run-by with only one bunker with 3 Marines in it. It's not enough firepower to really prevent the goons from stepping forward, but with the engineering bay, it can really mess with it. And now, definitely pull back. So, with the eBay up, he can throw down a couple of turrets. One in front, just to make sure a DT doesn't go and try to run in. Probably going to place him around in the main in case of other types of shuttle harass. And the command center going down behind that. So BoxioR's command center only slightly behind. And he does have a very large number of tanks out. At this stage in the game, is he actually going to go forward with the tanks? That... Oh, with only... I don't know if I like this decision going that far forward with the tanks. I think that the Dragoons, if spread out properly, can actually attack. Although DDA is not microing this engagement properly, he's just going to lose 3 Dragoons, only one of them even firing. And BoxioR's going to pull back. So... I think he could have lost all 3 of his siege tanks there if DDA was paying attention. But, luckily for him, DDA was not. So, Robo facility down, gonna get the observers out. Taking a third as well. BoxioR has not built a single vulture this game, which is not really good. He's without vultures, he really cannot have any mid-game map pressure, and he has to wait for a push to come out before he can start asserting himself around the map. DDA is going to be completely harass-free. Doesn't have to worry about running into mines, and BoxioR is just relying on scans to determine DDA's relative strength. And the Academy only finishing now, so scans aren't even for another little while. Picking off in a scouting SCV. So... Ooh. That's quite interesting, throwing down a second machine shop. Because if he wants to get vulture speed a lot quicker, then adding on this machine shop really isn't going to speed that up terribly much, because the mines are almost done anyway. So if he's throwing that machine shop, it's to continue to, yeah, build tanks out of both factories. Still 8 tanks now? Yeah, that's 9. No, 8 tanks. That's 8 tanks, producing 2 more before the first vulture coming out. A rather peculiar TVP style. I mean, as long as DDA is only making goons, the tank army is going to be completely invincible. But once he starts incorporating in some speed lots, the tank army is going to have a lot of difficulty dealing with a properly constructed Protoss force. He certainly has times to get some vultures out, and he is getting mines and their speed, so he will do it eventually. BoxioR moving out now, and it's almost like an FD push in the sense that he's expecting the vultures to just catch up with the rest of the force, but instead of 1 or 2 tanks, he has 10. And I don't think he can get enough vultures to have a properly composed Terran army. Well, we'll see. DDA gonna step forward, pick off... No, it doesn't pick off a tank. It does pick off the Marines, though. And if BoxioR just leapfrogs with his siege tanks, he can advance no problem. There's nothing that the Dragoons can do against even half that. But speed's almost done, and now for the first time we start to see some vultures. Speed and mines are both done for the vultures. So, ooh, I have hotkeys. Speed and mine are both done for the vultures. Getting a little bit too far forward though, taking a lot of Dragoon fire. Ooh, DDA going in for a double-pronged attack, but he backed off with one side and not the other side, unfortunately. So going to cost him a couple goons. Now, this attack... Oh, he has to be so careful getting surrounded by the 2 waves of goons, and with the speed lots, now that speed is done, there are so few vultures to try to absorb a lot of those shots, and the tanks are clumped up. Luckily, there are no mines for him on top of the tanks, but it looks like it's not going to matter. BoxioR's timing attack is just going to crumble. Yeah, that's... I'm not sure how that attack is supposed to work. Protoss didn't do anything funny. Protoss did everything exactly by the book. And it arrived just as speed would normally finish. Anyway, speed lot's gonna take some mine splash, but should be enough to clean up the rest of this. Oh, BoxioR's gonna micro a little bit, so he will survive with a couple of vultures. A couple of SCVs. A little bit of a mistake. Alright. Meanwhile, while after the army dies, BoxioR now starting to set up an expansion. If he had gotten that up a little bit earlier, then it'd be safe. But I don't think he's going to be able to defend it properly. Well, DDA, does he have his archives up yet? No archives up. Just gonna stick with the there it is. Okay. So he is working on tech. Still gonna be on just speed lots and goons for a while, but BoxioR has so few tanks now. Just a couple of defensive tanks and then 2 out in front, with only building 1 more. That's interesting. DDA walling off with a double forge at a base that is certainly much closer to BoxioR's base than his own. There's an expansion up here that's a lot closer. There's an expansion down here that's a lot closer. I don't know why he's walling that off. No, he's really going to expand here. I think it's supposed to be a hidden expansion, but there's a barracks floating overhead. So BoxioR is going to see it. He won't be able to kill it off with vultures, though. The cannons are going to warp in just in time. Well, so much for the hidden expansion. They kill off one of the cannons, but the cannon was not actually part of the wall, so the vultures still can't get in. Are going to be able to kill off... No, not quite going to be able to kill off the other cannons. The Dragoons get back just in time. So it's going to be able to stand, at least for a while. DDA still slowly working on taking this expansion down here. That'll put him up on 5 bases compared to BoxioR's only 3. And this base just only got up. Well, BoxioR's starting to reestablish his tank count. Now looking a lot healthier. Although he does have his mines way too close intertwined with his army. Alright, that would be the next leg. So, Arbiter Tribunal is down for DDA. Has not actually started Arbiters yet. Not sure why. He has the supply for it. He has the... excuse me. He has the supply and he has the money, but... Ah, there we go. Now starting Arbiters. Good. Once he gets Arbiters, it's going to be really hard for BoxioR to hold off any aggression. BoxioR had a lot of trouble using vultures this game. He was pretty late in building them in the first place, but very little mine spreadage. Certainly no vulture harass other than trying to take down this base. Alright. Well, DDA is going to be able to expand again. There's really nothing stopping him from taking every base on the map, and, well, now he has taken every base on the map except for the center one. And BoxioR, under 150 supply, and just turtling up really hard. Is he working on upgrades at least? He's... what? What? Where's the starport? He's getting air weapons and doesn't have a starport. Mistake? I'm pretty sure that's a mistake. That better be a mistake. He can't go for like a +2 battle cruiser timing, right? That's insane, right? Right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm just gonna assume that was a mistake. Anyway, DDA is maxed. He has a nice, pretty nice composition. There are the speed lots. I was gonna say he doesn't quite have enough speed lots with the rest of his army, but once he brings those up, be just fine. He has a single arbiter out. No, not quite enough energy for a stasis. That might be what he's looking for. There are certainly some good stasis opportunities in and among the tanks. And splitting up his army is going to be very nice. He's going to attack down this hill towards the tanks and then come in with this force from the top if he wants to. Is he still... He's going to finish his +1 air weapons. Yeah, how about them +1 air weapons? Anyway, both players pretty much maxed now. DDA, there's not a whole lot left for DDA to do. He's taken all the expansions he wants to take around the map. He's maxed out. I assume he has his upgrades going, or at least he should. Well, he's got 1-1. Meanwhile, our Arbiter taking a lot of fire from the Goliath is going to get out of there. This is a prime target to hit with stasis, although this is a very scary Terran composition, regardless of the fact that it doesn't have any upgrades. Kind of engaging at piecemeal. Stasis on 3 Goliaths, that's less than ideal. Now, it looks like he's going to come in for the attack. Some good storms going down. Another good storm going down, killing off 6 tanks. And there's some more good storms. But where are the speed lots? He needs speed lots to help him clean up the rest of this. Does he have them? He had the reserve control group. That'd be perfect right now to completely crush BoxioR, but apparently he doesn't have them with him, so he's just going to pull back now. Taking out a good chunk of BoxioR siege tanks, though. Still looking at the upgrade situation. But BoxioR is going to be able to retaliate now with no speed lots. These siege tanks can easily push back the few Dragoons left, and DDA just needs to re-macro. He has quite the bank to work with, and he should have enough gateways. Lots and lots and lots of gateways. Looks like BoxioR is slowly working his way down to take this 4th, and discovered the Manor Pylon, so he's going to need to send an army to take that out eventually. And going to run into mines? No, he's not going to run into mines. There's an observer here. There might have been another observer. The wall of turrets. Going to make sure work of the Arbiter. Now DDA is almost remaxed, or at least getting very close. BoxioR not quite as far along. Contingency of goons left over from that last attack. Did go away, there we go. There we go, there's the rest of the army. DDA doesn't have any arbiters coming there they are. They don't have enough energy though, which is a little bit on the disturbing side. I think some really nice stasises could help out here. He does have High Templar though. Storms will work just as well. Rushing in though without any of those spells, it might be enough to just crush this. There aren't that many tanks. Some more in the back, but most of the front units have died. The goons are going to be easily able to get into the tanks. BoxioR didn't have as close to as high a supply as DDA is, who was maxed. And GG from BoxioR. DDA takes game 1. Alright. Game number 2. So, in the bottom position, we have BoxioR as the purple Terran. Left position, we have DDA as the teal Protoss. What? Oh. Alright. Interesting banter. I wonder if DDA is supposed to be a face. Because I could totally see the capital D's being eyes, and then the underscore being a mouth. And then the A is whatever the A is. Could be some acronym in Russian. Anyway, PVT on Tau Cross. I don't think this map is quite as good as the other one was for Protoss, but there's still a lot Protoss can do. Tau Cross is kind of weird because in certain ways it's a really open map, just because there's like no cliffs in the middle of it. But in certain ways it's also a really closed off map because there are bridges controlling everything. So depending on where you engage, if Protoss is attacking Terran when Terran is turtling on 3 bases, it becomes really, really open, and that can be great. But on the other side, when BoxioR is pushing out and he's out in the middle of the map and controlling a bridge, it becomes really, really hard to push Terran. So this map's kind of weird like that. It's kind of like the opposite of Fighting Spirit in that way, where it's really easy to turtle on 3 bases, but then the map is pretty open in the middle. Anyway, DDA without the early Zealot this time around. Just gonna go straight for the goons. And this is not a tight wall. The top is tight, and then this is tight, but this requires an SCV to block. Apparently 2 SCVs to block, depending on how you position them. Probe's gonna slip in. Should be able to live long enough to see generally what the Terran's going to do. Factory goes down. That's a pretty big indication. The way he set up the wall, there is no place for a bunker. So Dragoons are going to be able to attack this pretty easily. BoxioR's going to need that early siege tank out. Now DDA can be super fancy with his probe and put the manor pylon here to prevent the machine shop from going down, and then keep the probe underneath the factory to prevent it from landing anywhere if you wanted to be super aggressive. And actually, it looks like he does want to be pretty aggressive here. He's already gone for 2 gates. Range is on the way. So we'll see what he can do. Machine shop did go down for BoxioR, so none of that will happen. There's a bunker, but the bunker is placed behind the supply depot and the barracks, so both of these buildings can still be ranged. And in fact, in terms of repairing them, it's going to be harder with the supply depot, with the bunker here, especially for the supply depot. It's not easy for the SCVs to get into position to repair. BoxioR putting his barracks in a different position. Not sure what the difference is, but really doesn't change much. The Dragoons can still range it. Going to need to pull at least 2 SCVs to start repairing it, and then more as DDA funnels in more units. And now the Marines are going to be forced to evacuate the bunker to try to engage the Dragoons and protect the SCVs, but there's not enough Marines to deal with that many goons. And this is what I meant by there really wasn't placed in the wall to put a bunker, and it still kind of doesn't work. First siege tank out, though, and with the barracks and the supply depot here, a run by with the goons is going to be pretty difficult to try to snipe the siege tank. But some good harass. Taking out early Marines is nice. Forcing Terran to pull 4 SCVs. Good stuff. Once again, BoxioR is going to be going for a very tank-heavy composition in the early game. It already has 2 out with a 3rd on the way. I want to see it work, because I want to see how it's supposed to look when you're attacking your opponent with pure tank. Anyway, DDA once again going to go for the faster expansion, and ooh, some DTs. Now, last game, BoxioR was not afraid to get the fast eBay, and once again, he's getting a pretty fast one. But it's not... Ooh, I don't know if those turrets are actually going to be in time. It's going to be pretty close. He needs to start that turret immediately. Oh, they're not going to be in time. There's no way that turret's going to be in time. Oh, and he's not going to have scan forever. DTs, man. DTs are good. DTs are really good. GG from BoxioR. Oh, man. Alright. So, looking back to the bracket. As I said before, Miguel did not show up. So, Modesty goes straight to the finals, and it's going to be DDA versus Modesty. And this is Modesty's final attempt to qualify for ISL 3. If he loses to DDA here, he will not be he will not be participating. So, in the top position, we have DDA still playing Protoss with the color blue. In the bottom position, we have ISL 3 with an underscore. Modesty as the teal Zerg. It is unclear whether DDA was playing random or whether Modesty just wasn't paying attention during the race pick. But DDA, good-mannered player, not going to lie about his race. Oh, whoops. I was wondering why that hammering was so loud, and it is so loud because my window is not closed. Aha! Boom. Shut that down. So, Modesty is a player who likes to play really standard PvZ. Just 3-hatch into 3-hatch Spire into 5-hatch Hydra into Turtle on 4 bases. It's what he does every game. And it's pretty good on 3-player maps. I actually really like I like it a lot on Tau Cross. When you take the side expansions, they're both going to be pretty secure because actually this is like the smallest choke on the map. All the thirds, the mineral onlys and the thirds are all wide open. So DDA is going to be forced to take pretty hard to defend expos, at least with cannons, while Modesty is taking very nice ones and with proper SimCity. I do very much so like 4-base Turtle Zerg on Tau Cross. So, DDA scouts in the wrong direction initially. Now going to scout Modesty. Nothing special for Modesty though, just a 12 pool. Cannons should be cannons should be fine. I'm questioning where he's gonna put the gateway, because like a gateway here blocks everything. Is he just gonna put the gateway here? Very indecisive probe. Nope, gonna put the gateway back there. So the gateway's not actually gonna be part of the wall, and it means that the cannons are gonna be rather vulnerable, either to Hydralisks moving forward or even to Lings. 6 Lings can take out that one cannon pretty easily. But Modesty is not a player who likes to go for early Lings, so I don't think that's going to be an issue this game. Ooh, Modesty taking the closer third. I don't like that. I definitely think he should be taking the farther expansion. The third is really hard to hold, and while it is very far away from your opponent, there's no way you can SimCity this at all. And it would be completely fine if Modesty was an aggressive style player who was constantly going to be constantly putting the pressure on and forcing DDA back, but that's just not the way Modesty plays. Alright. Anyway, DDA not doing anything out of the ordinary. Cybercore down, and... Ooh. Well, I take that back. Now going for a Citadel. So we're going to have some very quick DTs. Could be for very quick Archons. But either way, going to be skipping the Corsairs. We saw this a lot out of Executor yesterday, where if you skip the Corsairs, you can actually get off some pretty strong timing attacks with the Zealots when the opponent's not expecting it, and DDA actually already has a Zealot out and harassing Modesty's third. 6 Zerglings should be able to clean that up, though. Anyway, Modesty only has 8 Lings, so while they can deal with 1 Zealot at a time, he can't actually deal with both. I'm a little bit surprised to see that Zealot not step forward and try to attack the hatchery a little bit while the Lings are distracted. Anyway, Spire down, 4th hatchery down for Modesty, 5th one going to be placed over here. And the Overlord's going to retreat, anticipating the Corsair coming out, but since it's not a Corsair coming out, Modesty is not going to realize that this isn't a Corsair build. Is it just going to be for speed? He's banking a lot of gas for it to just be speed, but at the same time he does not have an Archives down yet. Ooh. Ooh. A delayed double Stargate? Okay. He's still going to get the Zealots out fast. And he's going to have a really stronger than usual +1 timing. But then he's going to follow it up with double Stargate Corsair. Mossy's certainly going to have time to get up whatever defenses he wants, but he might be overwhelmed with that tech switch. It's going to be such a radical transition, seeing the very scary number of Zealots coming out, and then having to radically switch into anti-Corsair play. Zerglings do see the Zealots moving out. Speed is done, +1 not quite. Just a little bit of ways to go. And Modesty hasn't set up his complete Sim City yet. He does have 2 Sunkens down, but they're not horribly guarded. Is that going to be enough to deter the Zealots away, though? Yeah, with the Mutalisks, the Zealots are not going to challenge that. And not going to go after this base either. This is a pretty good Sim City itself. I'm surprised DDA only moved out with 5 Zealots. He had a 6th one, but I got distracted. And didn't wait a little bit longer for that +1 to finish. But going to pull back. Still kept all of his Zealots alive, which is nice. Was unable to do damage, though. Cannons going down for DDA to defend against Mutalisk Harass. This isn't going to defend that probe line a whole lot. And here come the Mutalisk. Even 1 cannon really just isn't enough if the Mutalisks wanted to focus it down. But there are double Stargate Corsairs that will chase the Mutalisks away. Should probably start fanning him out a little bit. Yeah, he's trying to. Wants to take less splash damage. Is DDA? Yes, DDA getting +1. I definitely like players to get +1 when they go double Stargate. If you're investing that much into Corsairs, that +1 just makes such a difference for them. The +1 for the Corsairs is a lot better than +1 for lots of other units, because percentage-wise, it's like an additional 20% of their attack, where most damage upgrades are additional 10%. Like the Hydralisk, for example, it goes from 10 to 11, compared to the Corsairs going from 5 to 6. keyboard broke. Alright, we're gonna look at the bottom of the map a little bit while I figure out which cord was my keyboard and unplug it and replug it back in. Technical difficulties.